I've decided I want to make another skirt because I was so proud of the last one, but there were some errors that I made that I think that I could rectify if I made a new one. I decided for this one that I want to use blue because I think that that's easier to style. It matches black tights, so I could wear it in the winter. I feel like the pink skirt that I have doesn't match black tights. So this is the yarn that I got. Lily's Sugar and Cream, 100% cotton. It's in the shade Cornflower. I don't know how I feel about it, honestly. Even when I ordered it, I was like, I ordered it off Amazon because I had a gift card. But I love blue, so I can't complain. So I got 2 skeins of this. It's supposed to be like a super size, it says. This is not a super size skein. This is normal, I would say. So it's actually gonna be probably not enough. And they're also, oh my god, it's so clear on camera. They're from different dye lots. So they're, yeah, I don't know why they did that to me. Literally cruel and unusual. I think it'll be kind of fun though. I'm gonna use the darker one at the waist, and then as it gets further down, I'll change to the lighter one whenever I run out. Again, I still don't think that's gonna be enough, but you know, I'll order a 3rd one if I have to. You guys are gonna follow along the whole process. You'll see what ends up happening. I don't know right now. So I have started already, and I only just did the chain. That's gonna go around my waist. I just, you know, held it up to my body and saw when the ends met at a comfortable size. I obviously I don't want it to be too tight because I do need to pull it over my hips to get it up. And I'll probably add a drawstring at the end. So it's not a huge deal if it's a little too loose. But I still like it to be tight as possible, because it's gonna stretch with use as well. So I'll show here my design that I drew of what I imagine this to be. I don't know how it's gonna end up. Maybe it'll be the same. I'm not really sure how I'm feeling. I made this design already maybe like a month ago, and I'm already having some doubts about certain aspects. But I'm gonna try to do, you know, it's all just basically one color. It was supposed to be basically one color. I have the 2 different colors now, but that's okay. I'm gonna try to then add intrigue by doing different textures. So sort of stripes, but it's just stripes of different crochet stitches. And I had the idea this morning that I want it to also get to be bigger stitches as it goes down, which I think will be quite flattering. So I'm just starting off, just basic half double crochets to do the waistband. And I'll probably do a few rows of this. Follow along. Alright, I've done 7 rows of half double crochet so far, and that I think is thick enough to be the waistband. So for the next row of half double crochet, my last row, and then I'm going to switch to a new pattern. I haven't decided yet. I'm really flying by the seat of my pants. But so for my 8th row of half double crochet, I'm going to add the increases. Well, the first set of increases. I think that I'll do another set of increases later, so that it'll be sort of a gradual A-line silhouette, hopefully. Well, this is what I did on this skirt, which I'm sort of basing this off of, but not really. So next step is I need to figure out how many increases I need to make. My instinct is to say, you know, I'll just do 5. I'll do one every 5 stitches, and let's just see how that goes, you know? Because I don't need to be super big yet, because I can always add more increases. I'm not really worried about adding too much either, because whatever the silhouette ends up being, it ends up being. It's a skirt, you know, as long as it covers what it needs to cover, I'm good. I am good. Okay, my waistband is 140 chains long. So if I wanted to add, hypothetically, 30 chains per side, so 60 chains. So with 140, what's that really visible by 60 is it? I love making things difficult for myself, so I'm gonna add 40 stitches in the next round. And I'm gonna do that by adding one increase every alternately 3 or 4 stitches. So I'll do 2 stitches and then a double stitch, and then I'll do 3 stitches and then a double stitch, and then 2 stitches, double stitch, 3 stitches, double stitch. Does that make sense? It makes sense to me. So let's just see how this goes. This is exciting. Here's how it's looking so far. I think it's getting a nice shape to it already, clearly going out. That's perfect. My next stitch that I think I'm gonna do is gonna be just stitch 1, chain 1, so it's gonna be a bit of a netted look, because I want to do that while it's still high enough up that, you know, you're not seeing anything. Well, I don't have enough yarn, so I need to do some netting at some point, and so yeah, I'm just gonna do it now. Here's how it's looking. So I've done these 2 rows of crochet 1, chain 1, and I'm just using half double crochets, but I feel like it's really not that dramatic of a net, which is fine, because obviously, ideally I don't want it to be too sheer, because it is a skirt, but because it is this high up, I was expecting it to be a little bit more holy, so I'm gonna do 1 row now that's crochet 1, chain 3. So it's gonna be like, these holes are gonna be twice as long, and yeah, I just think that that'll look interesting, and then I'll go back and I'll do 2 rows of this crochet 1, chain 1 again, because this is what I'm feeling inspired to do. It has become painfully clear that I just cannot squeeze this out with only 2 skeins, and in fact, I have to order 2 more. You know, I'll keep doing what I can, but after I finish this first skein, I'm gonna have to stop until I get the new skeins, which is gonna take me a couple weeks, so there's gonna be a bit of a break. But because the color differences, I really want it to be a gradient from darkest to lightest, so I'm hoping that the 2 new skeins will be not darker than the one that I already used. We'll see. Here's how it's looking. Next up, shell stitch. Okay, so I watched the video, I learned how to do the shell stitch, and I do think it's looking really good, and it's way easier than I was expecting. But, and maybe this is just me, maybe I'm being nitpicky, I feel like that's looking kind of crazy. That's looking really chaotic here, this transition. So I'm going to have to do more of a neutral stitch after this netting before the shell stitch. I just tried it on. It's looking great so far. So for the next row, I've done 2 rows of double crochet after this netting, and for the next row I'm going to do 1 more double crochet, and I'm going to do 30 increases. So I'm going to do 1 increase every 6 stitches, and that'll bring me to a total of 210 stitches. I'm not going to do any more increases after that, I don't think. And then I'll start doing the shells, but I think I'm going to run out of string before that, so I'll do that in a couple weeks. Okay, it's a super exciting day. My yarn just arrived, and I'm going to unbox it for you here live. Well, not live, but you know what I mean. Okay, so I haven't seen it yet, but these are the 2 colors that I have from before. And let's see what shades I got this time. Okay, exciting. It is a different color, but it's lighter than the original. Okay, next one. Oh my god, perfect. Okay, this is gonna be really fun. So I do have 4 different lots here. Oh no! Interesting. So one of the ones that I got is the same as the lighter color I got last time. So these 2 are the same color. And yeah, they look like it on camera. So very happy with that. That's fine with me. And then this one is different. Let's see them all together and see what the gradient looks like. Okay, cool. Okay. See, it's so much easier to see it on the camera than it is in real life. So it looks like this color is the lightest of all, which is perfect, I think. Now I can get back to work. Okay, actually, I'm looking at it now with my real life eyes, and I do think that the 2 that are the same are the lightest. Now you can't really tell here. This one's much more purple, and these ones are much more blue. And I just think that maybe I just associate purple as being darker, but so I just think it'll look nicer in the middle, and then I'll do these 2 light ones at the ends. Update. I'm working on my 8th row of shell stitch now, and I am really happy with how it looks. I think it looks really lovely, but it's not even a difficult stitch. It just kind of hurts my hands, and for some reason, I don't know if I just get distracted really easily while I'm doing it or what's going on, but it's taking me literally ages. These 7 rows. It's in like 2 days, and that's not normal pace for me at all, and I've not really been doing much else, so yeah, that's not great, but I am really happy with how it's going. And so now it's time for me to start thinking about what I'm going to do next, because I've decided I'm going to do sort of a theme of 8 on this skirt. I think it would be nice to keep going with that, especially because I'm going to be growing the size of the stitches as I go down, so it'll still be becoming bigger sections. And so anyway, what I'm thinking next is that I'm going to do triple crochet, but for the first row of that I'm going to have to put 1 double triple crochet in this stitch here where I had a single crochet, you know, so that it's not wavy anymore. I've just finished the 2 rows of triple crochet and I think it looks awesome. I'm so happy with how everything's going, and I'm super excited because I've decided what my next thing is going to be. So I've done 2 rows now of the triple crochet, and then I'm going to do 4 rows of zigzag surface stitch. I don't know if that's the proper name, and I only found one tutorial for it online, which I'll try to remember to link in the description here. So thank you so much to that tutorial. I think it's going to look awesome, and it's something super interesting. Like, I've never seen any technique like that before, so I'm really excited to give it a try now. And so I'm going to do 4 rows of that, and then I'm going to go back and do 2 more rows with just the triple crochet. I think that'll be the 8 for this segment. So I did just finish off this second color of yarn here, and I just had to start on the 3rd one. So this is the final color now. Alright, I've hit a roadblock. So I just noticed that the video that I was basing this pattern off of, that the zigzags are growing in this direction. So it would be like vertical lines down the skirt, and I wanted it to be one horizontal zigzag, you see, around the skirt. But that's leaving these giant holes, and like that would show my underwear. Okay, I made some modifications to the stitch to make it less gappy. So now these zigzags are coming from one stitch and they're going into one stitch. So this leaves less breaks. Maybe now you can appreciate a real sense of the chaos of this process, because now I've been doing this new stitch that I just learned, and then I modified, and now I'm actually going to modify it again, because I was looking at how it's going, and I thought it's not very zigzaggy. Like, it kind of just looks like a line if you don't look too closely, and I thought, well, what if I made the line steeper? So then I did this little test here where I only did 2 instead of 3 behind each zag, and yeah, that looks a lot nicer. Flash forward to when I've already done all that. Probably tomorrow, because I'm over this for tonight. It's after midnight, and I promise I really am about to go to sleep. But I've been on such a kick trying to figure out this stitch, and I think I finally got it. It crosses over 2 stitches, and then you add a 3rd stitch in where the gappy part is. It's so obvious now. So I finished the first row of the zigzag stitch, and then I did a little test of if I should do them all to be exactly the same so that it's truly a zigzag, or if I should do the inverse for the next row so it's like diamonds. But I think I'm going to do the zigzag because I don't think that's a very clear diamond shape. And with the line in the middle, I don't know, I don't think it looks too nice. So I'm just going to do zigzags, and hopefully that'll look nicer. Much nicer. Okay, this is the first time that I can show it to you on, because it's starting to get kind of long. It's now long enough at the front that I can start the slit here on the next row. So I'm just going to do that by not connecting it in the round. And my other thing that I'm thinking of for the next round is that I will make the 2 rows of zigzags as well as the 2 plain rows with double triple crochets instead of triple crochets. I'm really happy with it, and seeing it on camera, I think it looks great. I do wish I could stop talking about the zigzag already, but I can't. With this trial and error, it is like never ending. So updates, because each row starts in the middle of one of these V's, I can't start the slit yet, which is fine because I actually compared it to another skirt I have, and I think it would have been too high up, so that's totally fine. but also this double triple crochet zigzag, it's too holy, and yeah, I just don't feel comfortable, so I'm not gonna do that. Alright, here's how it's looking. Right? Isn't that so cute? I'm so obsessed. I'm literally so obsessed. Yeah, so I have 4 rows of zigzags. I did all 4 rows as triple crochets, and now I'm doing 2 just plain rows of double triple crochets. I think next is going to be my last design. I'm going to do a texture again to finish it off, and I'm hoping that it's going to end with some sort of an interesting edge. Well, ideally I would like to do a harlequin stitch, but I don't think that's possible because it needs to have like a flat beginning, and I don't know how to do a harlequin stitch, and I feel like that'll be really hard. So as it turns out, the harlequin stitch, actually not that complicated. It's pretty much just the same as the shell stitch, which I did here already. And it's going pretty well, and it turns out it's totally possible to do it from a straight edge, which I didn't think it would be. So I'm really pleased with how it's going. I'm just going to grind through this, then we'll go to the final reveal. Time for the reveal! In conclusion, super happy with this project. I'm really impressed with the way that I feel like it kind of looks like a denim skirt but elevated, or maybe more me. And I love that. And so I feel like this is a great alternative. It's like a thick canvas, it's 100% cotton, and it's light blue. So to me, that's denim. That's a denim skirt right there. You can't fight me on it. I make the rules. So really briefly, I just want to touch on why I think that this skirt is so flattering. So I think it's really helpful that the color gradient goes from darkest to lightest, which I did do intentionally. So the darkest color is at the waist, where you want it to look smallest, and then it gets lighter as it goes down, which really accentuates the hips and gives you that sort of hourglass look that at least I find flattering. Next up, I think similarly, having the pattern go from smaller at the waist to being bigger as you go down, it has the same sort of effect. And I can include a picture here of another garment where you can see this intentionally done. So it creates that hourglass look as well. It just accentuates the broadening as it goes down. The third thing that makes it flattering is obviously just the cut. Because it is just smaller at the waist and then it goes and flares out around the hips, it obviously makes your hips look wider and makes your waist look smaller. So win-win. I also just want to point out that a lot of the times in crochet, people talk about things as though they are rules. And so it can kind of discourage you. In this case, I broke a couple of rules, or I just did things that wasn't the way that they were intended to be done. And by that I mean this yarn that I used, on the description it said that it should be used for things like coasters and household objects because it does create a very thick canvas. But personally, I don't mind that, and I think that it did give this skirt a nice denim-y look, so I think that's quite fun, a positive even. The other thing is, I used patterns, for example, the Harlequin stitch, and this zigzag that I did, that are really more meant for like blankets, and I haven't seen people really use them in clothing, which is a real shame. Even when I posted on TikTok me doing that zigzag stitch, and somebody commented assuming that I was making a blanket, and I was like, oh. So these are really things that aren't necessarily meant to be used for clothing, or like it's not conventional. So my message to you is, you know, screw the rules. Screw the rules. You can do whatever you want. Nobody's gonna tell you off for it, and you might end up with a really cool project at the end. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed. I hope you saw the chaos of my project and felt that maybe you guys aren't doing too badly on your process. My process is like this pretty much every time, and in fact, this was quite a mundane project for me. I mean, that's why I felt like I could film this one, because I knew that this couldn't go too badly wrong. So I'm glad that it worked out, and I'm glad that I have a super cute skirt now, and I'll see you in the next one.